Hello and welcome everybody to the very long overdue retroactive, even long overdue for retroactive look at the July 10th items, weapons, maps patch. The general overall patch that came out over the summer from Valve that did some tweaks to lots of weapons, lots of item sets, lots of maps, and Thoughts, Dogs, and TF2 was not running over the summer because I was a lazy bum and I was covering DSGL, so I didn't really have a chance then to look at all the stuff in detail. But you know what? We've had over 2 months now of playing with these new weapons to get a general idea of what has changed significantly and what has relatively stayed the same. There has been a couple of minor updates along the way since the July 10th patch. Oh, excuse me, that was a sneeze. Anyways, so yes, there has been some minor changes to some weapons, some bug fixes for problems. Maybe like, for example, the sticky launcher getting to active stickies at a time, all that kind of stuff. But I'm only going to cover the stuff that happened on the July 10th. The other ones I'm not going to pay too much attention to. Alright, so here we go. Lots of map fixes to remove a lot of the glitchy areas. I'm not going to go over those either. Removal exploits and stuff like that. So let's take a look. Let's just go down the list here. We're starting with the Criticola. They removed damage taken as mini crits, and they added damage taken increase by 25%. And I have seen some people running around with the Criticola, especially in Nucleus, King of the Hill, running around using their crits and not taking as much damage because the Scout alone already was a frail guy. If he takes a rocket to the face, he'd be dead. One crocket is all it took to kill him. But the 2 meat shot attack from a Scout still good and gets even better. Using the Criticola, I've seen some people use it, but it's still not that big of a buff that people would swap it out instead of just pistol even, or using that bonk juice either. The shortstop gets a 20% bonus healing while deployed, which means that medics heal them better, I suppose, and maybe even picking up items. I haven't actually checked this out. But they do get an 80% vulnerability increase to all push forces while deployed. I don't think that matters too much. People who use the shortstop will probably continue using shortstop. People who swear by the scattergun probably continue to use the scattergun just because of that damage. Although the shortstop is typically banned in a lot of professional leagues just because of that increased accuracy, and with random scatter off it makes it even better. And it shoots off pretty fast. The winger gets 25% jump height bonus when active, and that's pretty cool. I've been using the Pretty Boy pistol for the extra HP, but the winger being a little bit worse than the regular pistol in terms of rapid fire. People might want to use that just to get that bonus height, because sometimes people want a triple jump, or they just barely need a triple jump and they don't really want the atomic bat, and they don't really want to use the force of nature either. So this will give them a third option to do tricky jumps for specific maps. So it'd be a map specific kind of thing. I don't imagine people will use it all the time. And here's the thing that has generally been removed for everything. All the special set things have been removed. So special delivery set for the Scout has been removed, the 25 extra health, and instead people with the poly count bonus sets, so the Spy, the Soldier, the Croco Style for the Sniper as well, and the special delivery set for the Scout, they all lose their special bonus effects, and instead they gain this leave and calling card on a victim. So when you kill somebody, their body will be marked with your calling card. And then as a result, a lot of the different items have gotten an interesting bonus. So some of the side grades have gotten an extra bonus. Moving along, Battalion's Backup, that is the defense bonus defense bonus for the Soldier, the little backpack. Gain additional 15% sentry damage resistance to all teammates when it's active. I still think that the what was it? The one that gives mini crits is much better. It's my backpack of choice, anyways. Black Box. Rockets now use correct sound. That's not really an adjustment. Beggar's Bazooka fixed an exploit that allows people to hold a set without canceling. I tried using the Beggar's Bazooka. It is a weird weapon to use. And generally, these are just fixes to prevent glitches. But yeah, the Beggar's Bazooka is such a weird weapon to use. I was not used to it at all. Conqueror, the Japanese horn thing. Rages now only generated from damaged out instead of damaged out and received. But the buff players also received a speed bonus as addition to a hit on health on hit effect. So they buffed it a little bit. So hopefully people will use it more instead of just the buff banner. But I still think the buff banner, like just the straight up damage, is amazing. A lot of times people don't really opt for the passive stuff because death doesn't matter too much. It's a video game. If you die, you're fine, whatever. You come back after 15 seconds or so, right? Whereas having an offensive advantage is huge because not only do you deal more damage, but you can remove attackers, which means there's less people firing back at you, and you can quickly turn the momentum that way, as opposed to negate damage but still have the same number of people shooting at you, kind of thing. Cow Mangler, they reduced the clip size, which is kind of sad. Cow Mangler was a pretty viable side grade. They removed the -10 damage attribute though, so that was pretty good. So it's basically like a, it basically is just like a regular rocket launcher now, just shooting. The bolts still go pretty slow, but you still have the ability to do a charge shot and disable sentry guns. So it's still very viable. I don't know. I think people, again, this will be one of those weapons where people who were using it before will just continue using it, and people who don't really want to use it just swear by their rocket launchers probably keep on using that as well. Escape plan, player receive mark for death effect after deploying and for a short period after holstering. That might change how people use the escape plan instead of, say, the equalizer, because for the most part everybody was using the escape plan just to get the heck out of there. But this added mark for death effect, which is what the heavy gets for the GRU, will be a little bit detrimental. So people might choose the equalizer and stay in the fight when they get down to that low health. And I wouldn't blame them. I think that might actually, it will make the equalizer a viable exchange with the escape plan, and I think that's a pretty good change. Liberty Launcher removed the reduced clip penalty, added reduced damage penalty, so it will shoot fast, but it won't do as much damage as the regular rocket launcher. So I don't know how I feel about that one. I never really felt that it was super bad, but it might still be able to take out sentries really quickly if you can shoot all 3 rockets before the engineer could recover. So Tank Buster set, that's gone. Flogsinator, they fixed the progress resetting after touching a resupply cabinet. Okay, so that's a kind of an indirect buff to the flog. But again, people who like to use it will probably continue using it. So they just gave them more reason. Here's the interesting thing: the Power Jack has been given pyros an increased movement speed because they removed that movement speed bonus away from the gas jockey gear set, the pyro set. And they added 20% damage vulnerability to all sources. So the pyro basically gets a movement buff, and I've seen a lot of people using the Power Jack. A lot of people using the Power Jack. People have basically foregone the extinguisher, used the Power Jack to move a little bit faster, basically move at scout speed. In fact, they move faster than they would have moved before with the gas jockey set. It's a 15% increase instead of a 10% increase. Yeah, so a lot of people have been using that Power Jack just to run around a lot faster, and they use the flares for the crits instead, or they might use the flog, what have you. I've been kind of messing around. It's actually encouraged me to mess around with my current setup. I typically like the shotgun and the axe, but I've been trying out all different kinds of stuff. You'll see me using flare now and then, and also the Power Jack. Charge and Targe gain afterburn immunity, and this was huge when I first saw this, because normally when a demo's running at me as a pyro, I'm like, okay, I'll play your melee game, set them on fire, extinguisher, easy kill. But now, with the charging charge getting afterburn immunity, you have to hit it pretty much immediately. It's as hard as killing a pyro, because pyros themselves also have that afterburn immunity. So it is as difficult as knocking out a pyro. And most times I would just have to use fire or just shoot them in order to kill them. Loose cannon range no longer affects direct cannon impact damage. Reduce charge time to 1 second, and added double donk, impacting an enemy, so you can hit more than one enemy at a time. And double donk damage now mini crits. Interesting. So a bit of a buff. Try to get people to use the loose cannon a little bit more. I think a lot of people are still comfortable with either the lock and load for direct pill huge damage, or just the spam nader. So hopefully that'll get some people to use that. Buffalo Sandwich, remove the damage taken as mini crits, and just change damage taken as increase. I probably don't think anybody will still use the sandwich instead of, the steak as opposed to the sandwich. The sandwich is just way too good, especially just being able to hide and get back to full health when no one's around. The low-cost bar just improved that again. And again, I think the sandwich is just straight up better. Rescue Ranger, minor increase in damage per bolt and increased building healing. The Rescue Ranger is really good, and I don't know why they buffed it. The only reason I think a lot of people aren't using the Rescue Ranger is simply because they don't have the Rescue Ranger. If I had the Rescue Ranger, I'd be using it. I don't have the Rescue Ranger though, so I've just been using my shotgun, but I wish I had the Rescue Ranger, and I definitely would have used it because it is a really, really good weapon for the engineer, and they just made it better. Short circuit, ammo cost reduced when destroying a projectile, ammo cost reduced by 18 metal, and short circuit I think is a great weapon also for offensive engineers pushing the cart. Pretty much, I wouldn't use it for anything else. I will use the Wrangler usually, but if I was pushing the cart in Highlander, I would use the short circuit. Wrangler, reduce accuracy. Protector shield now fades 1 second after the engineer dies, so a little bit of a nerf, which I think is needed. Wrangler was really, really powerful, but probably not even enough of a nerf. But I think it's a safe nerf, I suppose. They did it, they kept it very safe for that particular instance. Alright, Crusader's crossbow changes to your syringe. Blah blah blah, nothing really important. Quick fix, I think you guys heard everything there is to say in previous episodes of Thoughts Talking TTT about the quick fix. Vaccinator now fully absorbs crit damage. Yay! That is what the Vaccinator needed big time in order to answer the crits creep, which I think is great and wonderful. Bizarre Bargain. Fixed starting charge rate being 40% instead of 20%, and they capped the max charge rate to 200%. So again, kind of a buff, I suppose, at the cost of reducing its maximum potential. But I think people who are using the Bizarre Bargain probably will continue using the Bizarre Bargain. I don't think anybody ever made it super high beyond that 200%. It held it there. That made a big difference. Cozy Camper removed the movement penalty and added damage taken increased by 20%. I think that is actually a really big buff because the Cozy Camper was huge in helping snipers take the shot, and it's kind of like giving a reduced health penalty to the scout where they're already flimsy enough. It doesn't really matter that much. It's not like they're ever really going to survive by by a sliver that often. And for snipers, it doesn't really matter that much. Maybe in counter sniping, but still, even then, a fully charged body shot is going to kill them anyways. So I think giving them the ability to take a shot carefully when being shot is going to be big. I can see some people definitely using the Cozy Camper. Myself, I still use the Girardi still, but if I had a Cozy Camper, I might use it every now and then. Depends on the map. Darwin's Danger Shield, bullet damage reduced, reduced by 15%. Explosive damage increased by 20%. Interesting. I don't really know people who would use the Danger Shield too often. I don't think the health buff and the damage reduced taking buff is going to be that great, so I still think there's way better stuff. I mean, Cozy Camper's good now. They've got the Girardi, and they've got the shield that that blocks against the spies as well. Dead Ringer, when under the effect of Feigned Death, damage taken decreases the duration of the effect. So that is a nerf for the Dead Ringer, and I think that's a necessary nerf too. Because Dead Ringer, a lot of people, it's always been the joke where people talk about it's easy mode for spies and all that kind of stuff, and I think it is a necessary change overall. And again, just like the Wrangler, it's a bit of a safe change in my opinion, because as a DR spy you can easily avoid the damage taken. The only problem would be pyros, but if a good pyro is chasing you anyways, you'll be dead. So it's a bit of a safe nerf, I suppose. It is a nerf for nerf's sake, just because they know that the item needs to be nerfed, but they don't want to nerf it so much that people wouldn't use it anymore. And I think it's a good idea to slowly chip away at it, and if it still is overpowered, then they can revisit it again and maybe give it another, bring that notch down a little bit again. The L'Etranger got 40% increased cloak duration, and this is huge because the Saharan spy set lost its thing. Wow, good job there, Muffin. They getting the extra long cloak duration. I know I'm using L'Etranger. I've never been good with the Ambassador, so for me it was a very obvious choice. I love using the Revolver because you can 3-shot snipers, but now I have to 4-shot snipers when they have the shield on. It's still not that big of a deal. 4 shots is sometimes hard to get when you're under pressure. I would prefer to have that 3-shot with the Revolver, but getting the increased cloak duration is so huge, and I definitely would be using that way more than anything else. And I think a lot of people would probably use the L'Etranger, especially you can mix the L'Etranger with the Dead Ringer as well and give yourself even longer Feigned Death mode, which is pretty huge in my opinion. The final thing is a Spicicle bug fix that would cause the charge meter not to reset when the spy was killed. So that is great that it is fixed. I had never really personally had that much problem with it either. Some undocumented changes. Loose cannon removed the 50% damage boost. That wasn't really talked about. Short circuit. Ammo cost increased to -36 meta when attack does not destroy a projectile or hit a player. So I still think it's okay because I only really ever use the short circuit when I am next to a cart anyways. They increased the firing speed, which is great. I think that is super huge and useful, so I could just spam fire it and it'll be great and useful. And I think that is pretty much all the changes. So overall, I'm quite happy with it. I think a lot of the changes were very safe in nature. The only significant ones I see that would affect people in what they use, it would be the L'Etranger, the Quick Fix, the Power Jack. Those are the ones I've seen. I've seen a couple of people use a Critical a little bit more now. Let's see, what else? I've seen people use the Charge and Charge, which is great because almost everybody had been using the split screen instead. So that is a big upgrade. I want to see how the Vaccinator goes. I still don't have one personally, but we'll see how people use the Vaccinator. It is a good answer now for crits, which I think it is a necessary thing. It'll give a really good rock paper scissor effect between the 4 miniguns. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you have any comments, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.